Y'all, I'm sitting up here running my mouth and didn't unmute myself. Let me start over. Y'all ready? And action. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to my channel. Hey. Hi. Those of you that are new, those of you that are peeking in, make sure you hit like to this video. So what I was telling y'all was I chopped my hair off. Yes, I cut my hair off. My hair was way longer a couple of weeks ago. And my daughter actually went Wakanda. Okay. Before she went Wakanda, she went super short and super blonde. And then right after, a little bit, right before she was getting married or whatever, she just went Wakanda. And I'm telling you, she was rocking it. I'm so tempted, but that's just not, I think that's a little bit too extreme for me. I've never been that short, but it's been years since I cut my hair. It's been years since thank you. Yeah. I know. I didn't unmute myself. So anyway, it's been years since I was wearing my hair short. But what I was saying is here in Phoenix, it's 199 degrees nearby. And so this is so refreshing to just not have to worry about a bunch of hair or whatever. But if you know me, don't get comfortable because you can literally come tomorrow and it'll be something else. So anyway, thank you, Royalty the Queen. And I was just telling y'all, I'm giving y'all a little pixie, a little, was it Tinkerbell? Okay, come on. Yeah, so it is so good to be with you guys after a long weekend. You guys read from the title. Before we jump into our subject, first of all, if you're new here, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And if you don't know how the format of my lives go, I say my hellos and everything, but I also want you to interact. I will be asking questions throughout this live, and I want to hear from you. It's a sisterhood. So jump in. Anyway, so yeah, I was just talking away and y'all are like, no sound. Yeah, I looked and I was like, oh, I didn't unmute myself. So anyway, Jasmine says, good evening. Hey girl. Hey, good to see you. Hopefully you made it home safely. Pam says, hello. Hey, Pam. Royalty, good evening, everyone. Hey, everyone. Hope you all had a great day. I had a great day, chill out day. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Hello, everyone. I am Pamela Care. My daughter changed my name. Okay. I was going to start my YouTube channel, but I decided to wait. Pam, why are you waiting? Inbox me, girl, and tell me why you're waiting. Now is not I understand though, starting a YouTube, you got to do it when you're ready to do it because there's a lot involved in it. And yeah, and so if you want to do it, whatever. But I'd love to hear why you want to wait. Love to hear. I can't hear you. I know, child. Can't hear you. All my friends, they're like, oh my gosh, you cut your hair. It's so cute though. I did cut my hair. I don't know, did I say this part when you could hear me? But anyway, my daughter just kind of inspired me because she shaved it all off and she is rocking it. I wish I can show y'all a picture. Girlfriend is rocking that. And I'm like, and she's like, it feels so cool. It's so cool in the sense of the heat here in Arizona. So I'm loving it. Hey, thank you, Shamika. Hey, girl, good to see you again. Beautiful as ever. Hey, everyone. Thank you. Absolutely love the hair. Thank you. So I'm getting some thumbs up. Guys, it's been years, I mean, years since I wore my hair short. And, like I was explaining, my hair is super fine. It's like baby hair. My hair is like cotton and typically does not hold nothing but curls. And, people are like, oh, you got nice hair. Man, I wish, give me that thick stuff any day. Nice and clear. It looks good. Thank you. April, thank you. Jaheem in the house. Hey, yes, we're back. Okay, it's Monday, y'all. Happy Monday, sister in chat, sending love. Thank you, Toya. Y'all, so anyway, about my day. Woke up, went to the gym, did that. So that's why you guys didn't have a morning live. It was like, you know what? Either I'm going to go live and my whole day be discombobulated, or you need to go take care of yourself. And they'll be there tonight for the second live. And so that's what I did. I went to the gym. I was refreshed. I loved it. And so that's I'm still, like I said, we've had so many great changes. Our daughter's driving now, that whole thing. So a lot of my mommy duties have been cut significantly as far as being the taxi driver. But now I'm trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to navigate going to the gym, this, that. So yeah, so it's a new routine, but it's a great thing. New growth will be back fast. Yes, it will, child. Yes, it will. And my hair grows really, really fast, but it is what it is. It's just hair to me. I'm the type of person where first of all, because of my face shape, there's not many hairstyles that I don't feel comfortable rocking. And you learn that in hair school. You have, who just texted me? Oh, child, please. So anyway, why did I look at that text in the middle of live? Why did I do that? Anyway, so that's that part. Let's get into some things. So we've been talking about becoming a confident woman. We've been talking about, growing up, maturing, all of that. It's a lot of foolishness and mayhem on my channel as well as other people's channel. But I think that we should really, really, really have a balance. Of course, like I told y'all, I'm all for the tea. I'm here for tea. I'm here for whatever, but I have to make sure that I maintain a balance. I have to make sure that more of positivity, more growth, more maturity is what I'm pouring into myself, more so than who's doing what and everything else. And I'm worried about what they're doing, commenting on what they're doing, and then I'm not growing in maturing into who I want to be. And so that's what this channel is all about. If you're in the bushes and you're like, what is she all about? Yes, we go from foolishness to mayhem on Friday, and then come Monday, we come with some growth and maturity and some self-reflection. So that's what we're doing. So anyway, confidence, shame, they can't live in the same place, unfortunately. They can try to live in the same place up to a certain point. But the thing about it is, the crippling thing about shame is that there's a certain part of whatever you're ashamed of, you feel like everybody knows, you're the only person, that whole thing. So it causes you not to move forward. So I want you guys, I have something in my head, and I want you to get something in your head that you're absolutely ashamed of, mortified, and it still has a sting to you, right? Don't tell it, don't put it in the chat, don't do any of that. But as we're talking, and as you guys are giving me feedback, and as I'm giving you feedback, think about that situation and how you can overcome it, and how we can use these 10 strategies to overcome shame. First of all, regardless, let me take these off because this is a serious one today. Because the thing about it is that I want all of us to grow in confidence. And the lie about shame is that whatever the incident is, whatever the situation is, the lie is you're the only person that's ever gone through it. Or so-and-so is not going to love me or like me or whatever if they find out about this, or because this happened to me or whatever. So that may be true to a certain point, but what's more important is your peace. The shame of it all can cause you to torment yourself and overthink about a situation. What's coming into my mind right now is the prodigal son in the Bible. And so y'all know what's in me is going to come out. I can tell you about a whole lot of stuff, but I'm going to end up telling you a story about that. But anyway, when I think about that, how he went out and did whatever he did or whatever, and he conjuring up this whole story. When he gets home, he's going to tell his dad, this is this. And dad's like, come on, you good? You good? And so what more could we do to ourselves? Even if we don't have someone to cheer us on and say, you know what, you're good. We need to be able to tell ourselves in our shameful moments, you're good. So let's get to the first thing. Let me find my notes. So I'm on my laptop today. Picture looks pretty clear because I wrote my notes on my cell phone. So anyway, does everybody have that thing? Again, don't type it. But do you have that shameful moment, that shameful event, that shameful year, that shameful person? Okay, so here's the other thing. You may not be the source of that shame, but you may be ashamed. We had a conversation. Thank you, baby. We had a conversation a couple of days ago about moms. That may be a source of shame for you because you don't have that relationship with your mom. So you feel like, man, everyone else is talking about their mom. Everyone else is talking about this. So whatever it is, let's get it in our head. Okay. So I got mine. Y'all get y'all's. And the thing about it is, I'm not even touching on the subject yet. The thing about it is, let's get to number one. If you find yourself in an embarrassing or shameful situation, you don't have to share that. Part of your healing process is owning it, and that's yours before it's time to release it. So what do I mean by that? A lot of times people wear their shame. You say hello and they're like, yeah, I guess, because, had an abortion last week. And you're like, okay, that escalated. Or, how you doing? How are you today? Well, my son's on drugs. He came over this weekend and he left. Girl, why did you just go from 0 to 100? Nobody needed to know that. And obviously it's a source of shame for you because you're not confident or you're not over that situation. So let's get to the point where when it's shameful situations, because that also releases the power from other people trying to hold it over you. Be very selective in who you share these moments with, these situations with. For an example, I was talking about the mothers and different situations like that. If that's your mantra, if that's what you go to all the time, 9 times out of 10, someone's going to try to hold that against you. And if you're not over that and that's still a source of shame, then you probably shouldn't have shared that. Same thing with, oh, I got a divorce, or, oh, I cheated, or, oh, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the situation is, protect that, because that's a part of you that does not bring a positive emotion. So let's get into the 10 things. We all got it in our heads. So far, good feedback. I got, hello, Melissa, love the haircut. Hello, everyone. Hey, this is good. And so, yes, it is. Okay, that's not showing up. So either way it goes, let's get into it. The first thing, like I said, we need to understand is we all have had shameful moments. When I was preparing, when I was thinking about this, thinking about where I wanted to go and where I wanted to take us, I thought about Rihanna. I thought about, Beyonce. I thought about these people with very public yet shameful moments. And, I thought about where they're at now on the back end. What could they have possibly done to get to the moment where they're at? Well, the first thing that I want to talk about is facing it, owning it. If you did something, you did it. If something happened to you that's very shameful, it happened to you. Own it, look at it, face it. In order for us to remove this thing, remove the power to get over it, we got to look at these things and say, you know what? I don't have to look at it with anybody else. I don't have to sit down and analyze it with anybody else. I don't even have to sit and waddle at it. But I do need to recognize that in order to get over the shame associated with this event, with this person, with this whatever, own it. That's it. That's the first one. I can go on to 15 other points and everything else, but if you're not willing to deal with the fact that you did XYZ, you failed at XYZ, your spouse failed at XYZ, your children are in a blah, 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 whatever. If you're not willing to face it and own it and understand that this is your life, we're wasting our time. So that's the first thing. Face it, own it, whatever. So type in the chat, I'm facing it. Okay, I'm facing it. And again, facing it doesn't mean that you have to go around, making a Facebook post about it, making a YouTube video about it. Protect your peace, protect your emotional state. Don't give anyone or anything power to use something that's a source of shame against you. Okay. So the next thing, all right, I'm facing it. Good. Fantasia is a great, yes, Fantasia. Let's think of some other examples before I move on. I love it, Andrea. I'm facing it. I'm a little sappy. So if I begin to see y'all comments and it just warms my heart and I get a little teary-eyed, just be like, just pray for me, because I love it. I love the fact that we're facing it and we're facing it together. Thanks for the good vibes. Oh, China White, thank you. You are absolutely welcome. We're going to get through this thing called life together, okay? And as long as you're on this channel, I'm going to cheer you through it, and we're going to get through it, okay? So I'm facing it. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm going, yep, you did that. And I would never, ever, ever want to discuss it or whatever, other than if it's a point of ministry or whatever. But it is something where it's like, oh, okay? So we're facing it. Good evening. Hey, so the next thing that I want to talk about is to make it right. So if you're ashamed because of something that you did, let's make amends. with that, unless there's some legal recourse as to why you can't contact somebody or whatever. But make it right. You know, we have shameful moments. And again, like I said, the lie of the devil is that, or the lie of your mind is that you're the only person that's ever done it. I can think of some crazy stuff that has happened to people that I know and love. And, you know, you're like, when you're in that moment praying them through it, or you're praying through whatever it is, you're like, there's no way no one else has gone through that. And there's a bullet point that's going to, prove that. Dispel that myth rather. But facing it and then making things right, because when we make things right, again, no one has nothing against you. No one can have any type of power over you. So for an example, if you make things right, if you just say, and that doesn't necessarily mean to placate the situation. So for an example, if you're ashamed of a relationship or the type of a relationship, that doesn't mean that I'm saying go make that relationship right. What I'm saying is remove the shame from it by just accepting it. And if there's anything that you did wrong, correct it. But that doesn't mean that the relationship needs to go on. If you shamed, if someone that is doing something, you are ashamed of them. Of course, you can't change their behavior. There's nothing you can do as far as that. You can only change how you respond to them. So for an example, let's say you have a family member that you're absolutely mortified by. They come around, it's embarrassing. You're absolutely shamed. So when I say make it right, do anything that you need to do to make to make peace about the situation, doesn't mean that now you got to invite that person over all the time, ignore their behavior and different things like that. Make peace with the fact that they are who they are. And I'm going to make it right within myself that I'm not going to respond the way I normally do. I'm going to either not be around that person. I'm going to ignore that person. I'm going to do whatever it is that I need to do to protect my peace, but also to make it right. Because what's not right is me responding to whatever. Or when I think of my personal shameful situation, want to beat the air and fight the air. Child, make amends with it, so that you can heal from it. We all have done some stupid stuff. You don't hear that often. You have some people online and everywhere else, or just in your life, where they kind of want to pretend they've never done anything stupid or embarrassing. I'm here to tell you, you probably have done it, and it's not going to be the last time that you do it. If you keep living, you're going to be shameful about something, okay? And it doesn't have to own us. It doesn't have to be who we are. It doesn't have to be a part of our identity, okay? Let's go through it. I'm facing it. Thanks for being the good vibes. Thank you, guys. I was facing it, but healing and guilt is over. Yep, guilt is tomorrow. We got this. We got this, everyone. Absolutely. Absolutely, y'all. That's one of the things that's really interesting to me. I remember, being younger and stuff like that. We tend to hide. We want to hide whatever the situation is. That doesn't mean that you just tell everybody your business. Absolutely not. Like, no. But at the same time, we have to understand, in those shameful moments, you're not the first to do it, and you won't be the last. I remember when I called my grandmother, or my grandma was at my house. I can't remember, because my aunt was passing away at the same time that I found out I was pregnant in high school. And I was actually, I think the day that she died, or around the time that she died, I'm on a couch, nauseous, everything, right? And so I remember, having to tell my grandmother. And my grandmother here, I love my mom. I love my grandmother. And so that's just one thing that you just like, oh crap, that is a source of shame. Like, I have to literally tell my grandmother, who, looked up to, thought that I was her world, I am now pregnant. Well, my grandmother, in her most classy way, she said, Missy, you are not the first, and you won't be the last. Okay, you did it. So now let's move on. And ever since that happened, I was like, oh, okay. So, not to say get over it and do it again, which I did not, but she removed any shame that I thought that I was going to have in that moment. And that was a blessing for me. Sometimes people like to play the radio over because they like the song. Exactly. They get something out of it. Thank you. Yeah. I love the fact that you guys interact with each other and stuff like that. So anyway, continue to keep your situation, your shameful event, the shameful person, who, whatever it is to you, continue to keep it here. The next thing that you have to do when you are feeling ashamed because you have been shamed or someone has shamed you, accept apology that you may never, ever get. I am the type of person, like you just said, playing the radio over and over. Me, I'm gonna talk about it till you apologize. That's how I am. But I've gotten to the point where it's like, you know what? I can't control that. I can't control, because I think that's a level of integrity, right? I think that's an issue of integrity. If you know you've wronged someone, I don't care if it takes 20 times. I feel like you need to apologize. And so I used to be the type, I would hold on like a bulldog in the situation, wanting an apology. Well, I'm here to tell you, in order to move on, in order to grow, in order to move past whatever shame in that moment and everything else, you may not get an apology. So what do you do then? Do you hold that person hostage in your mind, in your heart, and in your emotions until you get an apology that you may never get? Okay? Accept the fact that you may never, ever, ever get an apology from an individual. But if you owe someone an apology because you caused them a moment of shame, then you should offer an apology. And that's what I'm saying about making it right. Now, what do we do? What do we say when someone is ashamed or feels ashamed in a situation and you know that was not your intention? Your intention was not to cause shame. Your intention was not to be, a part of that or whatever. Open and honest communication, period. I know that that's the way it came off, but that was not my intention. And I know that you are offended, and I'm sorry, period. And that's it. That's all you have to say. Whether someone forgives you in that moment, whether someone wants to hold on to it or whatever, that's on them. We don't have to do their work. We only have to worry about our work. And our work is making it right within ourselves. So again, just like shame comes, I know that we have done stuff to each other, our spouses, our children, that have caused them to be ashamed, So yeah, we got to make sure that we apologize when we need to. And that even includes to your children. That has nothing to do with shame or whatever, but allow your kids to say, Mom, that was embarrassing. Well, why was it embarrassing? And if they have a good point, then just be like, you know what, that wasn't my intention. That wasn't my intention. Yes, my grandmother was wise. I enjoy Melissa and everyone's energy. Everyone's so nice and supporting. Thank you, Andrea. Andrea, you're right. Thank you. You better teach me something this evening. Come on now. Come on now. So yeah, that apology piece is very, very important, especially if you know that you own a situation that you may have caused someone shame. Now, again, let's pause right here. We know that certain cultures, shame is huge. You honor your family, this type of thing. Japanese, island families, African families. Who else? Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you know where honor and not shaming a family is huge, huge, huge. But I know the Asian cultures and stuff like that. When you come from those cultures and you and you know what? And even in the Black culture, in some ways, like we'll pop a kid in the back of the head in a minute. It's like, you know what? I didn't send you to school to act like that. That type of thing. But when we're talking about a culture and that may be outdated, if you're someone of that culture, what I would encourage you to do is really just make sure that you have a good filter to be able to say, was this really a shameful moment? Or is this something where my parents are holding me to a tradition that I'm no longer, or family, that I'm no Indian family, that I'm no longer bound to? Like, I don't follow those traditions and cultures and stuff like that. So I wanted to press pause in that moment to say, you know what, make sure if you're in that type of family, in that type of community, that you filter whatever shame that you have against what you believe and what your culture is telling you as well. My husband is African, yes. And so, you know, I know these cultures. I've worked with a lot of them, friends and everything else like that. But even with me, like I'll call my kids in a minute and be like, what you doing? If you don't, you know, that whole thing. So make sure you filter it through who you are and who you are as far as your convictions are, because you don't want to feel shame about something that you really don't believe in, you know? Drop them stars. I don't have stars, but I do have super chat and I do have super stickers. So if you love what you're hearing, bless a sister. And if not, we're going to keep on moving on anyway, because that's just what we do over here. But anyway, like I said, I don't have stars, but we over here teaching. Okay. We over here teaching. So the next thing, I talked about it, forgiveness. But I didn't talk in depth about it. Forgiveness. If someone has shamed you or put you in a situation where you feel ashamed, in order to heal and move forward and not have that thing really have control over you, you have to forgive the moment. Forgive yourself. Forgive that person. Forgive your child. Forgive. And you know what? When you're talking about healing and growing and maturing and getting over things, forgive always comes in the picture. Misforgiveness is something where she's that friend where you like her to come around, but you want her to come around when you want her to come around. But the thing about it is that she really gets invited to all the parties. Okay. And we have to understand that in order to have a good time, we got to have misforgiveness show up. Okay. And she got to show up and show out. And the thing about it is, forgiveness is not for the other person or the person that has caused you shame or the situation. Forgiveness is for you. It unlocks the peace. Because when you don't forgive, you hold on to it. Oh, you made me mad. I'm so angry. I'm so this. That was so embarrassing. I can't believe you did that. Can't believe you let me do that. Forgive. That's right. Forgiveness equals peace. That's what I just said. Absolutely. We just can't let misforgiveness come to the party, child. Listen, you're not going to be able to heal. You're not going to be able to be a mature woman. You're not going to be able to give to other people what you need, and what you needed and what they need if you harbor some sense of unforgiveness. And again, unforgiveness doesn't mean just because I'm about to sneeze. Woo! Just because you invite unforgiveness to the party doesn't mean you got to dance with her. You just say, okay, I acknowledge you. Thank you. You're here and I'm going to do what I need to do with you. But that don't mean that I need to break my boundaries. This person still is not allowed in my life. This person is still, not a safe place, whatever, however, right? But you got to let misforgiveness come to the party so that you can get some peace. Okay. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about, because one thing that I want to keep going back to and stressing, the biggest thing about shame and guilt is that it just feels like you're the only person ever in the entire world that has ever done anything, and in certain circles at church, they'll have you thinking that the bishops and these people and even some of the people at church, they'll make it seem like they are perfect. Well, they're not my type of people. They never have been, and I just don't fit in with those type of people. My next one is find community. You are not alone. Find your people. And I don't care if it takes years and years and years and years. Find your people. Your people will say that doesn't matter, or you don't have to tell me anything about that. Or I hope you're doing well, but if not, how you doing today? Find your people and stay connected with your people. Those are your people. Anyone that tries to keep you in the moment of your shame and your embarrassment, they're not your people. Even if they are your people, they could be your kinfolk, but that don't mean that they mean well by you. And that's your community. Shame and guilt can cause sickness. Pam, I am said absolutely. It can cause sickness because you worried sick. It's your gut, stress, high blood pressure, everything. Because the thing is, you're trying to hide it. And again, I'm not saying whatever it is that you have in your head, you have to tell people. No, you don't have to tell a single soul. But the people that was involved with it, they're the only people that need to know. Who they tell, that's their business. But as far as you're concerned, when I say that you're trying to hide it, it just means that you're just trying not to deal with it. And especially when it's stuff that has consequences. There's some things that we do that have major, major consequences. And I love the fact that when I was studying this, one of the scriptures in the Bible talks about having no condemnation. You know, you are forgiven. Those things are beautiful to remember and to rehearse, because when you feel those moments of shame, you know, on the back end, 40 years later, you may be an awesome parent, but you might have been a terrible parent when your kids were younger. Well, guess what? Forgive yourself. Don't walk in that shame. Turn the power, own it. And when you own it, you turn that power into testimony. And now you can do the next thing, which is what I said in my notes, which is now it's time to get to work. Because now the real healing begins. Because now you're saying, you know what? I've forgiven myself. I've forgiven the situation. And I'm not the first person to do it. And I'm not the last. Also, the good news is that's not who I am any longer. So it's time to do the work. Type below, do the work. It's time to do the work. That way I know you're still with me. I know y'all still here, but you know the preacher in me, I need some feedback. So anyway, time to do the work. Okay. In doing the work, so we're still with our bullet points. I would encourage you to find out why that situation happened. Why did you embarrass someone? Cause shame? Why am I ashamed? Why did I do that act to cause shame, or whatever that situation is, whatever your situation is that you're thinking about, think about why it happened. Thank you, Lady Libra. Good to see you. So we're talking about shame. If you're just now peeking in, you're peeking in and out. You read from the title. You already know what we're talking about. We're on our grown woman stuff over here. And part of being a grown woman, yes, is the tea, you know, all that stuff that we do, Foolishness Friday, we kiki, we do whatever. But ultimately, the growth and maturity over here is what, just joined, but your hair is cute. Okay. But the growth and the maturity and doing better is what I'm ultimately about. So anyway, find out why it happened. Why did that situation happen? Because obviously, if it's a shameful situation, we got to figure out how not to be in that situation again. And if it's something that we can avoid. Now, if this shame is caused because, of course, molestation, rape, different things like that, those things happen to us, and you know, we have no say in that, right? So in that moment, the only thing that I can say is find out why it happened, and if there's anything that you could have done to change any part of that situation, and not victim shaming or anything like that, or victim blaming. But sometimes there are situations where we could say, you know, we could do differently. You know, I think of a little girl, you know, I may have a little teenager on here. God forbid she was sex trafficked or whatever. How could she have done something different? Not blaming her, not whatever, but let's look at the situation. What could you have done different? I might not have been on that app talking to whoever I was talking to. I should not have been giving my address out or getting their address or whatever. So that's just an example of what I'm talking about as far as digging down, because now we're doing the work. We're doing the work to healing. And so why did it happen? So that I can avoid it, because no one wants to feel shameful. I don't know anyone that enjoys feeling ashamed. I was looking at different pictures of being shamed. And the thing about shame, if you Google shame or anything, people are either like this, they're just like mortified. No one's like shame. Like none of the pictures were like that. And I can't think of anyone in any moment where they're just like, they feel okay about whatever it is that they're ashamed about. So we have to find out, why did it happen? The next thing, I said it, I cheated, I fast forwarded. Release it if it was beyond your control. A lot of people are ashamed for what happened, the molestations of their childhood upbringings, the relationships that they do or don't have with certain family members, just different things. You know, the fact that, you know, some people are ashamed because they couldn't complete something because COVID hit and they couldn't complete something or whatever. And they're just so mortified that they should have started it earlier, or I should be ahead in life, and whatever, all this stuff that you're telling yourself to be ashamed. It's really interesting. Shame is so common and it's a human emotion, but it's so individualized. Something that will cause you shame, I'd be like, girl, that ain't nothing. Let me tell you about this. So I'm not here to diminish or to emphasize one type of shame or another. Something very simple that I wouldn't necessarily be ashamed of, you probably would be absolutely mortified, and vice versa. So as we do the work, as we get down to the nitty-gritty and go towards healing, we also have to understand that your work is not going to look like my work. Your path is not going to look like my path, in the sense of what's causing us that shame. So, and the other part is reconcile never to put yourself in that position, if you can help it. So my situation that I have in my head, I can reconcile that I won't put myself in that position again. You may say, well, you know what? My position, I didn't do it. It was done to me. Well, again, release that. It happened, unfortunately. If there's someone that put you in that situation, then you also have to forgive and let that go in order to heal, in order to get over that shame. And that's what we're talking about. We're not diminishing anyone's situation. The whys, I did it because, or this happened to me because, or whatever. But we got to move on in order to grow and mature. Pam says, as my pastor says, some people gonna catch this on the way home. I love this, Pam. This good stuff, okay? Listen, this some good stuff. This is some stuff that I wish someone had told me when I was in my 20s, 30s, and I just learned along the way. And the beautiful thing, as you live long enough, those of you that are in your 20s and 30s, life has a way to be cyclonic, and it's a cycle. And that's how come someone my age can say this too shall pass. Or we can say life will go on, because we've been through enough cycles in life to know this too shall pass. And yes, hopefully people will get this on the way home. Go for in God. Yes. Okay. So, you know, making sure we don't put ourselves in those positions. You know, I just thought, every time I think about this, I'm reminded of, you know, maybe your shame has to do with you were in a club and you overdrank and you just overdid it that night and you was all over the place. And however you woke up, where you woke up, whatever that, you know, in my head, I just gave you a whole story. But the point of the matter is looking at that situation, forgiving yourself, but then telling yourself, okay, that's a shameful moment. Everybody else, that's going to be laughable or whatever. But what can I do to avoid that situation? Typo. Yeah, I figured. So yeah, avoiding the situation if it is truly something that you need to avoid. So the next thing, the last one before we get to the major one, to an important one, but the last one is, I find that service to others is the answer for a lot of our emotional and spiritual woes and problems. When you are focusing on serving someone else, especially someone else that is in the situation that you may be shameful about, but you're overcome it. It is such a great feeling, because you're not busy focusing on that moment of shame. You feel good about what you're doing. Like, I'm feeding the homeless right now. Nobody have time to be, don't text me about what I did at the club yesterday. I'm feeding the homeless. Can you imagine that? whatever the shame is, whatever the situation that's causing you shame, if you turn that into an act of service. So for an example, if your shame is dealing with dysfunctional families and this, whatever, but you change that power, you're no longer bound by that and you are healed. And then you decide you're going to go be a CASA and you're going to protect young kids and go to court and be their advocate and stuff like that. Guess what? The sting of your situation, your childhood, your whatever has been removed because you are now serving others. You do not have time to be thinking of shame when you are serving others, whether it's outside of your house or inside your house. All right, I'm getting good. Girl, that's it right there. Yes, service takes us out of ourselves. Absolutely, positively, 100%. I'm telling you, if you ever just really, and I'm not diminishing depression, anxiety, any of those things. I'm not. But I will tell you, anytime I've felt any of those situations, those emotions, and I'm doing an act of service, even for that moment, I don't think about it. And it's been a proven, strategy. It's been a proven tool. If you're feeling these things, feeling these emotions, go do service. And of course, we know with COVID and everything, it's not as easy to go to a homeless shelter, or it's not as easy to do those things. Pack up some clothes and give it to the homeless shelter. Pack up some bags and stuff and go downtown and give out to other people. You feel so good about yourself. Not because, oh, look at me, I did this, but like LaFay said, we're out of ourselves. Because when you're in shame, you're really in yourself. You're in that mirror. You're like, you so stupid. That was so dumb. Oh my God. When I go to work on Monday, they're going to, oh my God. Oh, blah, blah, blah. How about that person at work who sends the wrong email to all concerned? Oh my gosh. And then everybody's responding. Get me out of here. This was meant for da da da. Why am I? Child, please. Imagine that person thinking, I got to go to work the next day, or I got to go to lunch and everyone knows I did it. Shame. So again, shame doesn't have to be this whole great big thing or this detrimental thing where it's like, oh my goodness, you ought to be ashamed because you were raped or this, or in other words, it doesn't have to be anything that extreme. It can be simply you're mortified and have been ever since you sent that email to the whole district and it was supposed to go to one person. And you feel ashamed. You see what I'm saying? So all these steps, all these tools can work in all those situations. You could feel shame because your kid bit somebody at daycare and oh my God, my kid got kicked out of daycare. When you're a young parent, that's the end of the world. When you're my age, you just laugh about it. But, getting calls from the daycare is like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. So again, it could be anything. Your past isn't your future. It is not. Your past isn't your future. It can catapult your future into greatness if you use it, if you take control of it and twist it and, like I said, offer forgiveness. I'm working on self-love. So shame you're not welcome here anymore. I love it. I am too. I don't care how confident I am. I don't care how whatever. I don't care. You could think of your most popular preacher person that you've ever followed or anything. They still feel shame. Think about Pastor Kim and the things that she went through. Juanita Bynum. They have felt shame. I don't care whether they never preached about it, whether they never came in and said, I was ashamed. Trust me, they felt shame. And so it's always a work in progress. You're getting it in 2021, July 2021. But guess what? Something else is going to happen where you're going to have to deal with that. Okay. Absolutely. I'm an introvert. And sometimes I have to make myself go out and do for others. LaFay, you know what? As odd as this comment is going to sound, I am too an introvert. But when I get on camera or when I get in front of women, I turn it to something else. But I am very intentional about making my house a home and being comfortable. And I love being at home. My husband, on the other hand, he is not that type. He is an extrovert to his heart. Me personally, I can be home all the time, but you got to make sure, like you said, that you aren't getting into a rut, for sure. I love doing Meals on Wheels. The elderly people you meet who are lonely and just want to talk or receive a meal, wonderful feeling. Oh, that is a good idea. That is a really good idea. So drop your acts of service. What is it that you do? LaFay is giving us 2 ideas that she does. So what do you do when it's time for you to serve others? What do you do? Some of you, I've never done Meals on Wheels, but I have served at soup kitchens and stuff like that. I have gotten away from donating clothes and stuff to Goodwill because they resell it. Yes, I am. I really am. My kids will tell you, absolutely. It is a wonderful feeling. So drop those ideas. If you have other ideas, what is it that you do, your acts of service? How do you give back to your community? What does that look like for you? It doesn't, a lot of times we think the meals, but it could be, offering child services. My heart, my absolute heart, my $1 million quest, one of my $1 million quests is I would love to open a childcare facility and or a baby accepting facility for people that feel like their hands are against the wall and I need to go to work, or I can't raise this baby for whatever reason. But it's a safe place for them to drop their kids off. And because I hate to see, and I feel sorry when I see these women that, the kids end up in the lake and whatever. I wish that we normalize just going to your neighbor and saying, I can't deal. And if you have that, that's amazing. But I always think about how that kid ended up in the lake. How did they end up in the dumpster? How did they end up in whatever? If she just had one person she could have went to and said, I don't think I'm doing this well. I'm not built for this. Let's do what we really need to do. Can you take care of my baby? Simple as that. She avoids jail time. She avoids penalty, and the baby is well taken care of. That's my heart. That's awesome. It is awesome. Wonderful. Me too. Pam I am says, what? Not you. Yes, me. I am not an extrovert. Listen, I'm not. I am in this space. This is my space. This is my passion. So I light up and come into a person, but I'm I am very, very, very much a homebody but I like to go. Like, I don't mind going and traveling and shopping or whatever, but I'm the type, if I don't have anywhere to go, I'm not that person just get out in the car and go, oh, let's go walk around the mall. That is so crazy to me. Let's take a nap, or let's watch Lifetime movie or whatever and just be comfortable at home. But my kids and my husband, on the other hand, they're like, let's go walk the mall. Let's go. And I'm like, geez whiz. That's just too much. So yeah, nope. I'm a homebody. Me too could tell you. I really want to join a literacy program to help listen and help people read. Oh, that's so good. That's another one. Check your local, like YMCAs, community centers. I'm not sure where you live at, but those are good places to start. Or you can just really start it yourself also. It doesn't really require a whole lot in an informal setting of teaching someone how to read or whatever. Absolutely. That's good. Or like look at elderly centers and stuff like that. I take care of my 91-year-old grandmother. I promised her when I was younger, I would never put her in a nursing home. God bless you, Pam. That is, what's the word? It not undaunting, but it's unthankful. Y'all know what I'm saying. Like, it's a thankless task. Like it's, and I hate to call it a task because that's your grandmother, right? And so I'm the same way. I'm not trying to have nobody go to anybody's shelter or nursing home or anything like that if I can ever help it. So I get that, but it is hard work. So my hat's off to you. Make sure that you are getting your own respite and time off and time away and all of that, because that's hard work, but it's rewarding also because that's your grandmother and you think about everything she's done for you. So absolutely. Me either. Movies, and I love to read. Movies are, yes. Yep. Reading. I have gotten away from reading in the past couple of years. I need to get back into it, but absolutely. Wonderful, Pam. So, service to others, that really rang true in our hearts. That really, we just had a really good conversation about that. And so that just proves my point. Service to others, however it means, looks like for you. I find that if your passion and your service is tied into whatever it is that you're ashamed of or once was ashamed of, and now it's became your power, can nobody bring that up and you feel ashamed? That's their problem. That's their problem. And that's the thing. A lot of times people, we leave them where we last left them. And they still on that. And you have grown, you have moved on and everything. So you just got to leave people where they last saw you and just be like, okay, that was the old me, but I'm not there. That's a blessing, Pam. It really is a blessing to be able to do that. I was listening to XM radio, and they were talking about yesterday, actually, and they were someone was talking about being caretakers for our elderly parents and grandparents, and how our medical system is not necessarily designed to make it easy for us to do that because it's so expensive. So it's a blessing that you're able to do that. So finally, before we open, well, the chat is open. Y'all already know that. But finally, before I get my last point is, if you find yourself going through all these situations and tools, rather, you using all these tools, watch the playback. Make sure you're taking notes and that you got it down. And you're like, Melissa, you know what? That's cute and everything, but this shame still keeps me in bed. Seek professional help. There's nothing wrong at all with seeking help with the counselor that can help you navigate these spaces so that you can move forward towards your healing. They can guide you to that. I like my 10 points were very general, but we definitely went in depth, and they do have a foundation in psychology and human development and what's good and all that stuff. But if you find yourself going through those tools, absolutely go find some help to be a better person. Absolutely. So if you are just joining in, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you like and share this video if you think someone needs to hear it. It was great. It was a great discussion. I like the fact that, as usual, you guys are chiming in with your own strategies, your own points and tips, and how you implement some of these things, and also how you have learned something yourself. More importantly, like I said, I like the goofy talks and the silly talks and talking about this one, that one, the other, and everything else. But more importantly, to impact the world the way we say we want to, as often as we want to, we have to make sure that we are growing and maturing and taking care of ourselves. And there's a lot of unresolved trauma, unresolved emotions that we just tend to ignore, And so tomorrow we're going to be talking about guilt, because shame goes with guilt. And guilt is a good one. Guilt is, wow. Because it can impact the way we parent. It can impact the way we love. It can impact so many things. So if you're new to this channel, welcome again. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you have something to say, chime in, because you already know I'm winding down, so I'm going to end the conversation. But I will be back same time tomorrow talking about guilt, because again, they go hand in hand. Like this video, leave a comment. If you're watching a playback, leave a comment below. Let me know if you have your thing in your head that we're facing. So I think that's it, my friends. This was a quick one. This is a quick one. I hope that this found you well. I hope you got enough homework. Okay. We got some work to do. We have some work to do. Yes, we'll try to be ready for tomorrow. Enjoy it. Okay, LaFay. And the beautiful thing about it is I keep the videos up. So if you missed the live tomorrow, there is always the replay, and twice as nice. So with that being said, my friends, just go in love and encouragement, and just understand that in order to grow and be a confident woman and being the woman that, we dream of, going into these spaces that we dream of, we got to do the inner work. And that's what we're doing over here. Okay. So unless something happens, y'all know how I always say, unless something happens, someone goes live and someone does something, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Oh, wait. Thank you. This is great. Much love. Thank you. Cool. I know. Cool. Thank you. So again, like I always say, unless somebody go live or y'all inbox me with some foolishness, talk about this, talk about that. I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and 4 o'clock West Coast time. As always, thank you. Bye-bye.